Hi all, it's Lovely Pendragon, and this is going to be an introduction video. I am going to be one of the new additions to Starting Out Solitary, so you'll be seeing me from time to time. I'm going to be a new subby here. I'm really excited. So as an intro, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a insight into my practices and some of the things that I believe in, some of the things that um, made me who I am, and you know how I've gotten to this point in my path. So let's get started, shall we? Let's see. Um, well, I have quite a few members of my family that practice or had practiced since past, and a lot of it comes from um, my grandmother and my great grandmother, and through the eyes of my mother. So she tells a lot of stories and anecdotes about times of past, and she gives great advice. And because they practice espiritismo and they were espiritistas, that has since been woven into the fabric of my path. Now, I've said this before, that I was lucky enough to choose my religion. My mother didn't feel that it was necessary for either my sister or I to be brought up in the same faith as her. Now, I'm very privileged. I could have had a mother that said, no, this is what you're going to believe, and that's that. But I was fortunate enough to have a mom who said, and a father who said, you know what, let them figure it out for themselves. We're not going to tell them what to believe and what not to believe. And that really began my quest. I mean, I was a Buddhist. I studied Jehovah's Witness, Pentecostal, being a Catholic, being an atheist. I mean, I went through the gamut and I loved it. I'm a curious person, and so it really afforded me the ability to find out who I am. So a lot of what I have has either been story told to me by word of mouth, from generations upon generations upon generations before myself, or it's something that I found interesting. And it's like a lot of the things that are in my life. If I find it interesting, I don't necessarily have to believe in the entire circle. I could just pluck what I believe or what suits me and put it into my practice. So that's a lot of the stuff that encompasses or makes up my practice. There are definitely things that, I've read or I have studied that are completely fascinating but don't really suit me. Um, so, that's kind of who I am. You'll see, um, as you begin to, start your practice, or if you're already on that path, you'll see that there are some things that maybe somebody says or that you read in a book that is like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. And I'd like to incorporate that. That essentially is me. So a lot comes from my Taino culture, my Native American Taino culture, my Puerto Rican culture, the Afro-Cuban roots. Um, the we have I am Irish, so Celtic lore, Scandinavian ancestry, so like the Nordic, or the Viking Nordic mythology. I mean, I get it from all over the place, and I love that. It's literally like a collage of faiths and beliefs. I then have, the Eastern influence from my husband, who um, is Indian. So then, I've read the Vedas, and I have, and still do, I practice his faith as well. I want to make sure that I understand it. So if we would ever have children, then they would be able to see, both sides of what we believe culturally. I'll do the same thing for them. I'll have them choose. But for themselves. So it's kind of, you know, a hodgepodge. It's definitely, my practice is definitely something that I didn't stumble upon. I created. It was something that comes with a lot of forethought, something that I I believe in. So it's not necessarily something that you would see. You know, there's a lot of folks that resonate with me, and they're not necessarily witchy and they're not necessarily magical, but being themselves, they have that characteristic. Like if you look at Salvador Dali, he's was a completely eccentric person, and magic just surrounded him, or the eccentricity of like a Nicholas Tesla. You know, I there are definitely people that, you know, I read about them and they're modern day people, and I incorporate some of their quotes or their beliefs or their views in my practice. So not only stuff from like way back when, but also modern day stuff. Yeah, I do work with a lot of herbs. I absolutely love nature. So a lot of what I do is incorporating nature into my practice. It just makes me feel whole. It makes me feel good. Um, and it's always a safe place to, you know, settle my mind. So nature's always incorporated into my practice. But I don't know. It's like I said, it's like a collage of things that have made an impact on me throughout my life. So that gives you a little bit of an insight into my practice. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. And I'm really, really excited to be here. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Bye.